Hello, my name is Daniel. I work as a spokesperson for Nehemiah Reset. Today I wanted to explore the discussion around Trump's fascination with Greenland. This is the first video in a series on Greenland. In early 2025, President Donald Trump reignited discussions about the United States acquiring Greenland, the world's largest island and an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. This wasn't Trump's first foray into the topic. During his first term, he had similarly expressed interest in purchasing Greenland, a move that was initially dismissed as bizarre by many political observers and promptly rejected by Danish authorities. Trump has renewed his interest in Greenland because he believes that Greenland hides important geopolitical forces which will affect his future diplomatic dealings. The Arctic has become a major battleground for international rivalry, because Greenland controls access to its critical resources and rising international power status. This video examines the multifaceted dimensions of Trump's Greenland ambitions, exploring the strategic importance of Greenland to the United States, the interests of other global powers like China and Russia, Denmark's stewardship of the territory, and most importantly, what the people of Greenland themselves desire for their future. Trump's interest in Greenland cannot be dismissed as merely another real estate impulse. Trump uses his skills as a property developer to approach territorial acquisition because he wants to achieve strategic goals that will help America assert control over strategic international territory. Trump developed a particular interest in strategic regions during his first presidential term. The administration's attempt to buy Greenland showed a broader tendency, which included attempts to change U.S. control over Puerto Rico and territories like Guam. For Trump, controlling territory leads to economic value, and he sees these regions as vital to U.S. control against Russian and Chinese territorial growth. Greenland offers protection from future dangers, which Trump believes will benefit him more than his political opponents. By advocating for American acquisition of Greenland, Trump positions himself as a leader willing to think boldly about American strategic interests, contrasting with what he portrays as the timid approach of his political opponents. Trump uses Greenland's economic possibilities as a vital factor in his decision-making process. The island has large reserves of rare earth minerals, uranium, iron or lead, zinc, diamonds, gold, and possible oil and natural gas. The global market now demands these resources more than ever, which includes rare earth elements needed in modern technology and military applications. China controls most of the rare earth metals, which means controlling Greenland's mineral resources will become increasingly critical. Trump's America First economic philosophy aligns naturally with securing direct access to these resources rather than relying on international markets. The president has repeatedly emphasized the importance of reducing dependence on foreign supply chains, particularly for critical minerals and materials essential to defense and technology industries. Trump uses Greenland as a security risk to develop a political framework which makes it hard for his opponents to challenge him without appearing weak on defense or strategic matters. Trump has consistently used political calculations which he developed during his foreign policy work throughout his political career. Greenland serves as an essential strategic base for the United States, which cannot be overemphasized. The island functions as a critical link between North America and Europe because it sits between the Arctic Ocean and the North Atlantic Ocean. The geographic location gives military and business operations control over important maritime shipping routes and essential air travel paths. The United States already maintains a significant military presence in Greenland, most notably Thule Air Base, now Patuxent Space Base, located approximately 1,500 kilometers south of the North Pole. The facility operates as a crucial part of America's missile defense network, which uses its space surveillance and missile warning capabilities to protect national security. The base also supports strategic operations, including satellite control, space monitoring, and scientific research in the Arctic region. The site allows for effective surveillance of possible submarine activities, which are present in the strategically important Arctic waters. Greenland has become more strategically important for the United States throughout the Arctic regions, because warming temperatures have developed. The Northwest Passage now exists as an open shipping route because melting ice caps have created new transit options which decrease shipping times to Asia and Europe from traditional Panama Canal or Suez Canal routes. Greenland brings the United States complete power over multiple new Arctic shipping routes, which will let them create rules that govern both commercial and military ship movements. The Arctic region has become a major strategic battleground between the United States and the Soviet Union. The United States needs to take control of this territory because China and Russia plan to dominate the area instead. The Arctic region is believed to contain 13% of undiscovered oil reserves and 30% of natural gas reserves together with extensive mineral resources. The location of Greenland enables the country to monitor and control resource exploration activities that operate in the Arctic region. The northern location of the island enables detection of missile launches from Russia and other potential enemy nations, which need up to 3 minutes of alert time. Greenland acts as a vital component which provides the United States missile defense system with necessary sensor data and operational facilities to achieve full protection against potential threats. The space tracking and surveillance functions of Greenland serve as essential space monitoring stations because state and non-state organizations are expanding their activities throughout space. The northern Arctic region of the island provides perfect conditions for monitoring satellite movements and detecting space debris. China demonstrates increasing interest in Greenland because it serves as a part of its Arctic strategy, which they refer to as the Polar Silk Road. Chinese companies have sought investments in Greenland's mining sector, particularly in rare earth minerals that are critical to modern technology manufacturing. China would gain a major military advantage over the United States if they gain control over these resources. The left uses their opposition against the territorial claim of Greenland to present a new threat which endangers the whole United States against their main rival. In 2018, a Chinese state-owned company tried to buy an abandoned naval base in Greenland, but the Danish government stopped the transaction because of security threats which prevented the deal. China has demonstrated interest toward financing infrastructure projects, which include constructing airports and ports that will enable both resource extraction and military access operations. China pursues control over Greenland's resources because it serves their long-term goal to establish secure supply chains for necessary industrial materials. China needs to expand its supplier network because it operates as the top producer and consumer of rare earth elements, which serve as essential materials for manufacturing. The United States would face an impossible path to victory after their opponents gain control of China. China operates more than 25 research stations throughout Greenland and conducts more than 20 scientific expeditions to study the effects of climate change and glacial changes and Arctic ecosystems. The overtly scientific purpose of these research centers enables scientists to collect information which can later support their military operations in that particular area. China has established research stations in Greenland and regularly conducts scientific expeditions to study climate change, glaciology, and Arctic ecology. The Arctic activities of China provide important information to Chinese researchers who will develop commercial and military strategies for future operations. Denmark has successfully governed all affairs which include complete administrative control over Greenland territory. China shows interest in Arctic shipping routes, which will become available when a northern sea route along Russia's Arctic coast begins to operate. China sees Greenland as a critical location because its base lies at the entry points to these shipping lanes, which support China's goal to create regular Arctic commercial shipping routes. China has shown its plan to establish regular Arctic operations through its investments in icebreaker ships together with other vessels that have special capability to handle Arctic navigation. All of these actions demonstrate China's interest in the region and left uncontrolled. They would soon be the dominant force in the area, and the United States would have a serious disadvantage in any future conflict. Russia considers the Arctic region to be essential for maintaining its national security while securing its economic development goals. The country with the longest Arctic coastline has spent heavily developing military bases throughout the region, by both reopening Soviet-era facilities and constructing new installations. Russia operates military exercises throughout the Arctic to prove its ability to fight in harsh weather conditions while simultaneously showing its commitment to protecting its Arctic resources. The military buildup has created concern among NATO members, including Denmark and the United States. Denmark has weak capabilities to deter threats from both China and Russia. The Arctic region attracts Russia mainly for its economic potential because the area supposedly holds abundant oil and natural gas and mineral resources. As conventional energy supplies decrease, Arctic resources become vital for Russia because they will determine its economic growth and its capacity to serve as an international energy provider. The potential resource wealth of Greenland creates both competitive challenges and partnership opportunities for Russia. Russia intends to control Arctic resources, but it will establish partnerships through resource investments in Greenland to implement its Arctic economic plan. Greenland serves as a crucial military base for Russia because its location extends from the Arctic Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean. Russia can extend its naval operations to the North Atlantic through its control of Greenland because it extends from Canada all the way to northern Europe. Russian submarine activity has intensified around the JUK gap between Greenland and Iceland and the UK, which has raised Cold War-era fears about Russian plans to obstruct NATO naval movements in this area. The strategic maritime choke point requires monitoring and controlling operations, which Greenland coordinates from its central location. The European Union considers Greenland to have strategic value despite Greenland's decision to exit the EU in 1985. The European Union concentrates its interest on Greenland because it contains natural resources which include rare earth minerals that European green energy and technological operations depend on. The European Union has pursued resource extraction partnerships with Greenland to support sustainable development and climate change research collaborations. These efforts enable European countries to access Greenland's resources while establishing environmental standards which comply with EU environmental regulations. Canada has special interest in Greenland's future because both countries operate as Arctic nations. The two nations face identical difficulties which involve climate change impacts and indigenous rights and resource development processes. Canada aims to work together with Greenland on environmental protection and Arctic search and rescue operations. The Nordic nations of Iceland and Norway and Sweden and Finland all have stake in Greenland's future because they share historical ties and cultural bonds and security needs. These nations collaborate with Denmark and Greenland to establish Arctic governance structures which protect the environment and boost economic growth. Iceland and Greenland maintain a strong bond because they share geographic boundaries and both face the same challenges as remote Arctic territories. The two countries work together through 3 fishing management and search and rescue operations and transportation system development projects. Multiple states and international corporations outside of the major powers all show interest in exploring Greenland's resource possibilities. Australian companies and British and Canadian mining firms have begun resource exploration activities in Greenland, where they search for rare earth elements in zinc and lead and gold. International energy companies have demonstrated interest in the island's oil and gas reserves, but exploration efforts face delays because of environmental challenges and unclear regulatory paths. Climate change will boost resource extraction operations because it makes them easier to carry out. Danish-Norwegian colonists created their first settlements on Greenland during the 18th century, which established the foundation for Denmark's relationship with the territory. Greenland achieved full integration into Denmark during 1953, which marked a major development in the colonial relationship. Greenland achieved home rule in 1979, which marked a significant constitutional change before the Self-Government Act of 2009 transferred additional governmental authority to Greenlandian leaders. Denmark uses this power transfer process to recognize Greenland's right to self-determination while it retains international responsibility for defense and foreign relations. Denmark provides financial aid to Greenland through its yearly block grant system, which delivers 3.9 billion Danish kroner, $690 million to the territory. Greenland depends on this grant to fulfill its budget needs, which support essential public services and infrastructure development. Denmark and Greenland maintain a complicated financial partnership, which involves ongoing talks about support conditions while Greenland works toward achieving its financial autonomy. Greenland resource development has led to intensified conversations about reducing Danish financial support. The defense and foreign policy responsibilities of Denmark toward Greenland represent the relationship's main link because Greenland holds significant strategic value. Denmark collaborates with the United States to address security issues concerning the American military base located at Pituffik Space Base. The Danish defense policy for Greenland maintains sovereignty while performing search and rescue missions and enforcing fishing regulations and assisting scientific research activities. The Danish military has strengthened its Arctic capabilities through recent improvements, which stem from increased regional strategic competition. Denmark has supported Greenland projects which aim to achieve economic growth while safeguarding environmental resources, especially in relation to mining and natural resource extraction activities. The company provides financial support to environmental impact assessments and monitoring programs. Denmark functions inadequately as a protector of NATO and U.S. interests regarding Russian and Chinese military developments. The future of Greenland depends mainly on what its citizens choose. The people want full freedom from Denmark, but they consider their security needs and the economic needs of their nation for their decision. Greenlanders want independence from Denmark, yet they need to assess their nation's ability to sustain economic growth and protect its security interests. Greenlander independence support stems from the public who wants to see independence take place. Greenland needs economic resources to sustain its current living standards, which require Danish funds for support. The route to independence remains undecided as political figures either support gradual independence or urge quick sovereignty development. Greenland would need to engage in difficult asset-sharing discussions with Denmark before achieving independence through negotiations. Greenland leaders believe that economic freedom needs resource development to make it happen. The island's mineral resources, particularly its rare earth elements, provide a financial independent path that enables the territory to reduce its need for Danish subsidies. The people of Greenland engage in intense discussions about how to manage resource extraction alongside ecological preservation and protection of native Greenlandic cultural heritage. Many Greenlanders are concerned about the potential impact of mining on fragile ecosystems and the fishing industry, which remains a crucial part of the economy. The people of Greenland who have Inuit ancestry value their traditional culture and language. Greenlandic language and cultural practices of Greenland become more important to preserve because the island is becoming more independent. The United States cultural component complicates any discussions about potential acquisitions or closer ties with other nations. Many Greenlanders oppose any agreements which could harm their cultural independence and lead to more foreign domination that would erase their special cultural identity. Greenland has serious demographic problems because it has a small population of about 57,000 people who live across its extensive territory. The island faces social problems because it has very high rates of unemployment and alcohol consumption and suicide deaths, which rank among the highest worldwide. This situation resembles other regions within the United States, which include Indian reservations and Alaska Native territories. The social problems of Greenland need to be resolved because they directly affect its independence potential and future development. The government of Greenland has executed multiple social improvement programs, but their execution has progressed slowly while their available resources remain limited. Citizens of Greenland establish a connection to Denmark, which they value, but they have begun to understand their strategic importance to important nations. Greenland hopes to maintain diplomatic ties with China while navigating United States and other countries' diplomatic relations. Many Greenlanders perceive American military bases as essential for their national security and financial stability, yet they stay cautious about possible U.S. attempts to gain control over their territory. The public has dual interests in Chinese investment for economic growth and protection against the rising Chinese presence in the Arctic region. The United States will suffer greatly if Greenland moves into closer ties with China. The United States has historically pursued territorial acquisition through American tradition, which underlies Trump's Greenland acquisition ambitions. The United States territory has grown extensively through its historical territorial purchases and acquisitions, which include the Louisiana Purchase of 1803 and the Alaska Purchase of 1867 and the acquisition of multiple territories. The United States has expanded its territory throughout its history by acquiring land through territorial purchases and annexations, starting with the Louisiana Purchase in 1803 and continuing through the annexation of Alaska in 1867 and subsequent territorial acquisitions. The United States bought Alaska from Russia in 1867, which shares strategic parallels with Greenland because it involved gaining Arctic land that had sparse population but held strategic importance and resource extraction potential. The United States acquired Alaska from Russia in 1867 through a deal that later became known as Seward's Folly. The modern international legal system has undergone substantial changes since the time when countries acquired territories through territorial purchases. The UN Charter and international conventions reserve the right of people to self-determination, which prevents governments from transferring territory without their residents' permission. The existing legal framework for Greenland acquisition becomes more complicated than what historical cases indicate. The opinion of Greenland residents carries vital importance in determining any future changes to their sovereignty according to the existing agreements between Denmark and the United States. The worldwide decolonization movement, which started after World War II, has established new obstacles for countries to pursue territorial claims. Former colonies have generally moved toward independence rather than transferred to other colonial powers because international norms have changed to support their self-determination rights. The present situation makes Trump's proposal appear outdated because it conflicts with the self-determination rights which former colonial territories have followed since World War II. This is the end of the first video in the two-part series on Greenland. To watch more videos like this one, you can go to our website at nehemiahreset.org, to our rumble.com or youtube.com channels. We publish new videos weekly. You can also sign up to receive our weekly new video list by going to nehemiahreset.org/email and sign up for our weekly newsletter. To help our channel, please like and subscribe so that more people can see these important videos. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Are you looking for a limitless supply of insightful reads to expand your mind and transform your life? Look no further than Nehemiah Reset's ebook library, where knowledge meets inspiration at nehemiahreset.org ebook. Go there today to discover a wealth of valuable resources to help you on your personal and professional journey to build a biblical worldview. Learn more about the Bible and how culture is impacting your worldview. Again, the ebook library is located at nehemiahreset.org ebook. Hope to see you soon. My name is Daniel. I am one of the spokespersons for Nehemiah Reset. The prior video was sponsored by Nehemiah Reset, a 501c3. Our mission is to assist Christians in developing a biblical worldview as it pertains to relevant cultural and biblical issues. We seek to inform Christ's followers, equip them, and mobilize them in action to vote for their biblical values and actively engage in our We are also committed to help Christians and non-believers to develop a better biblical view. Nehemiah Reset produces videos and ebooks to assist members of the church in developing a biblical worldview when it comes to cultural issues. We produce videos on key topics like public school indoctrination, the woke agenda, sex education, equity and inclusion, climate change, immigration, religious freedom, and much, much more. To learn more about Nehemiah Reset or to watch our latest videos, go to our website at nehemiahreset.org or our rumble.com channel. We produce 2 to 3 videos every week. To get a weekly list of our latest videos, sign up for our weekly newsletter by going to nehemiahreset.org/email and subscribe. You can support our website by liking our videos, subscribing to our channels, or helping us reach more people through tax-exempt donations. Thanks for your help in growing God's kingdom and bringing more people to Christ. Thank you for your support and help. Come back again soon. Have a great day.